How's it going, Jeremiahans? I have with me the latest Korg Wavestate synthesizer that costs about $800. There has been quite a lot of professional reviews out there on this keyboard since it was released in NAMM in January this year. So I will be giving my take on this Wavestate keyboard. In fact, today's review will be more of an educational kind of review for those people who are piano players and who are home keyboard players of the PSR keyboards, the Casio CTX keyboards, who are not exposed to what a synthesizer can do and how powerful a synthesizer like this can be. Korg Wavestate comes with 240 performances. And what are performances? Performances is actually made up of different programs as well as wave sequences that is built in here. So there are 740 programs. So this is more than just a wave sequence. You are able to play multi-samples as well. And there are at least 1,000 wave sequences inside here. You can record up to more than tens of thousands of wave sequences and save this inside and it will still not run out. So let's have a listen to the one that I played earlier on called Pianistic Artistic. So you can see that this is actually made up of 4 different layers. You have layer A, layer B, layer C, and layer D. And this shows what are the programs that are used inside here. As well as on this side of the screen, it actually tells you the amount of volume balance mix for this entire program over here. So when the light is turned on, the layer is active, and when it's off, the layer is not active. To manipulate each layer, you have to turn on and make sure that the button is lit. So in this case, if I turn off A, C, and D and I only leave B on, I will be only playing a piano patch here. And we have in here Guru random pad on A, and if I press this and turn it on, you will hear an additional layer. How can you tell that this is a wave sequence rather than a multi-sample? So the piano is a multi-sample because it is just playing back a sample that is stored in the Wavestate keyboard itself. But the patch on layer A is a wave sequence. As I play, you can see that all the timing, the sample lane and the pitch lane, they are just running about. And I can turn on, introduce layer C, which is a flutterscape. I will further explain wave sequences in a while. If you are enjoying this video so far, do consider buying me a coffee using the link in the description below. You can also find a list of my recommended pianos as well as keyboards and the equipment I use for my YouTube videos. Let's look at the hardware here. So here we have a joystick to control the vector synthesis here. I'll explain what vector synthesis is later on. We've got a pitch and mod wheel, plus and minus octave, and here we have the lanes that you can control the wave sequences. Here you are able to select the different wave sequences as well. Here's the control center, and here is the knobs that you can use to control the wave sequences as well as the multi-sample and modulate all the effects in real time. Over here we have different kinds of filters. We have Poly6, MS20, high pass filter here as well for you to tweak your sounds and to save that as a performance, or to be able to tweak this in real time as well. So all these can be effected in real time. And here we have the different envelopes that you can use to change the sound of your patches. You can hear that as I change it. Alright, changing your attack, decay, sustain. I won't go into this because these are very technical, right? This video is meant for showing those people who are piano players, who are home keyboard players, who are not familiar with synthesis as to what this is capable of. Here you have your LFOs that you can further modify your sounds and your patches even further. And here we have programs effects. Here we have a dedicated help button, and you see this dice here, this dice icon. I love this dice icon, and later we'll be talking about it because it allows you to randomize things. If you are not very good at going deep into stuff, you don't really understand a lot of the stuff here, but you want to have just ideas to play with. This dice is a very great tool for exploring what this synthesizer can do. Here we also have set lists that you can save your different performances that you have already set up, your different patches and your different layers, as well as a step sequencer for the wave sequence. Let's look at one performance patch which is very good for explaining what wave sequence really is. Contemporary Composer. So Contemporary Composer, you realize, has only one layer, and I think it is best to show you what a wave sequence is. As I'm playing one note, you realize, why are there different instruments being played? So the reason is because in every single of this button has been saved different sounds, different samples. In step 1, we've got the Stradivari pizzicato, step 2 as well, and you see in the third step we have a flutter tongue flute, and the fourth step we have a staccato trumpets. Back to the pizzicato, and then we have piccolo, woodblock, oboe, bass clarinet. So these are all running in real time. You can even set things like the probability of that event happening. So if, for example, you do not want event 2 to happen all the time, to take place all the time, you can actually set the probability to 50%, for example. So there is a 50% probability that this event number 2 will not even occur. So there's this randomness about it, which makes this a very dynamic kind of instrument to play. Isn't always predictable, and there will always be something new. So any sample can be in any of this button for any length of time, in any octave, at any pitch. So there are so many things you can basically program into each of this step itself, and that makes it an extremely dynamic tool when it comes to playing. So one of the interesting things you can do is that the loop doesn't just have to run in one direction from left to right. You can actually change the loop direction. You can make it move back and forth by pressing this button. You can hear instantly it sounds different. The sequences goes up. You see it starts to come back down again. Can you see that? Or you can just reverse the direction and it will just go in a descending order. So not only are you able to have different layers, you can also dictate where you want that layer to sound. It isn't just a straightforward split. So you can have like portions of layer D here overlapping with layer C, and you can just decide where you want the layers to be. So in this case here, the woodwinds has been assigned such that it will sound until G. Can you see that? There's no more woodwinds left. And there's nothing in B. You can of course add anything you want. And in C, we have this wave sequence called the Copelandia textures. And this is what it is. So you can see this is a wave sequence compared to, if it's not a wave sequence, it will just show that it's a multi-sample. We also have this thing called a kinetic orchestra wave sequence in here. So these are the presets inside here. You can of course program your own if you want to. Okay, let me show you something very cool. In layer A, we have this woodwind, right? But if you have a look at this sample track in here, the samples being used, if you're using knob number 7 that has been pre-programmed, you can actually change the sound in real time. So this is the sound, and if you change this, can you see that? Just by moving the knob, it has changed to a clarinet, I think, or an oboe. Yeah, that's an oboe. So all these can be changed in real time, and I'm going to show it to you here. Now I'll be using the Kashmir patch to show you what vector synthesis is, what this joystick can do. So what the vector joystick does, it allows you to move between the balance of the sound. So if I push it to A, you will only be hearing mostly layer A. If I move to B, you will only be listening to layer B, layer C, and if I push to D, you will pretty much be only listening to layer D. And you can modulate between them. Alright, now to my favorite feature here, this dice button. I really love this one because you can randomize pretty much almost anything on this keyboard. You know, if you want to randomize the performance, all you need to do is click the dice icon and it says randomize performance. You press enter to confirm and it comes out with a totally random performance that is not even in here. You can see the name, it just says random NDGP and whatever. It's a surprise. It's like opening a Kinder Bueno chocolate package and it has this surprise in it. You see that? This is just random using the algorithm. You don't like it? Press it again, randomize it again, get something else. You know, like I said, life is like a box of chocolates. You ain't gonna know what you're gonna get. What if, for example, you don't want to randomize everything? So there, everything you can randomize. You can randomize the amp, the pitch, the reverb, the wave sequence. You can randomize anything that you want. So let's say we want to randomize layer B. I just need to select that and press randomize. And it would say, so do you want to randomize layer B? I said yes. So now, instead of being a piano patch, this is now a randomized B patch on the layers. Normal piano. That is the beauty of this randomize button. So these 49 keys seems a little bit slimmer than usual. It is touch sensitive and velocity sensitive, but it is not does not have any aftertouch in there. The wheels are solid, it has no give at all, and I like it. It feels very solid and it's a slight rubbery feel which makes it non-slippery. The wheels are super smooth, has a very assured feel, but I would have loved to have endless knobs. So these knobs have a hard start and a hard stop, and I would love to have endless knobs. It's a matter of preference really. The screen, although it's small, it is very well thought of. The UI is just fantastic. So it's all very logical. I was able to move around and do all the stuff that I want, edit stuff, without even looking at the manual in detail. So this shows that even with a very small screen like this, you can, with a well thought out UI, it can actually be very effective. And this is also very lightweight at just 7 pounds. So you can just carry it along anywhere. Unfortunately, it's not battery operated. I think something like this could benefit from being operated by battery or maybe even USB power bank operation. I think that's something which Korg may want to consider, especially more so when this instrument has MIDI out, 5D MIDI out, which you can use to control other synthesizers, other sound generators. And instead of having a power cable, if you were to use a USB power bank, I think there's a benefit to that as well. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little review as well as a quick tutorial on the basic functionality of the Korg Wavestate. And if you did, make sure you leave a comment and smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. My name is Jeremy C, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye-bye.